Hi guys, happy Mondays. So first things first, just so you guys know and you don't all complain and chat and tell me things are broken when they're really not broken. I don't actually have a video for you guys. I have some hundreds and hundreds of screenshots from a recent Velius raid that involved multiple guilds from multiple servers doing things like the 10th Ring War and, shit. I think the statue in Kale and something else. Oh, and then we turned everybody's PvP flags on for extra lulls. But that's what that is, so don't tell me like the video's choppy or anything retarded like that, please. We're joined tonight by some great people, and we're just gonna go into that. Cloki, you're here. Say hi. Tell these people who you are in case they've never heard of you.
Hi, I'm Cloki. I'm the guild leader of Omni. We're an R guild that plays US daytime mostly. We've got a bunch of Euros, Asians, and US people. You can find us in the guild thread and probably, I don't know, we're probably known by reputation somewhat now. Just a guild full of good people.
A plus. A plus. Do you have a website?
We do, but I'm too dumb to know what it is. Hang on just 1 second here.
While you're looking for that, I'll also tell people that they can get information on the Omni Guild by going to www.project1999.com. We have a guild discussion thing where, with wonderful threads from all the different guild leaders, where they create guilds, and I promise not one word of it is biased propaganda. It's all truthful, honest reflection, inward reflection made public so that you can make an informed choice on which guild is the best guild for you.
Omni1999.com. One thing that I should say is that we are a rating guild. We take people who are 46 plus. We recruit to the individual, not the class. Have a look at our charter, and if it looks like that's the way that you want to play the game, doesn't matter what class you are, we can teach you the mechanics, we can help you get some gear. The one thing that I do say is if you're an asshole, don't apply, because we can't teach you not to be an asshole.
I taught my dog how not to be an asshole.
I don't believe it.
You think he's an asshole when I'm not here?
Well, I don't know. If he's intrinsically one, he probably still is.
Oh, no. You know what? He is an asshole because he barks. He barks when I'm streaming.
See?
Nemce.
I'm here.
I have you here.
Yep.
Say hello. Tell us. Pretend I have no idea who you are. Pretend you're just a stranger who wandered into a Skype call that was going on.
All right. I am Nemce. I'm the guild leader of Azure Guard. Our website is www.azureguard.com. It's pretty simple. And we're a pretty simple people. We do rating, Class R. We are one of the three legs of Gimpatron. Is it Gimptron or Gimpatron? I've seen it spelled both ways.
I think the A is in there. I feel the A is
I hate that
important.
name.
I know, but if it's Gimptron, that's too close to Voltron, and it's gonna summon mixed memories in my brain.
Oh. All right.
Because I'm old enough. I had Voltron toys. That's the thing.
Isn't there a movie coming out with him recently?
If there's a Voltron movie coming out and I don't know about it, that's all kinds of messed up.
Something like that's happening. You should look into that. But anyway, so yeah, so we raid with Omni and Europa these days, but who knows what'll happen when Velios comes out. And we are fighting the good fight. Azure Guard stands for Protectors of the Blue, basically. So we're here to fight for you guys, all of the casuals on blue. We are there for you.
You get any kills recently?
Oh yeah, man! Sunday was awesome.
Tell me about your Sunday.
Cool. So we got.
Wait, no. Hold your thought. Hold your Sunday thought. I'm
right.
being rude to everybody else.
Okay, I'll hold it.
We also have the wonderful Knix this evening. Say hi, Knix. Tell these people who you are. Or don't. I mean, it can go either way, really.
Hang on, I had my cough mute and I was coughing and stuff. I've been kind of sick lately, so But anyway, this is Knix at TMO. Sorry I had you muted. And welcome to the stream.
Well, thanks for welcoming me. Um,
Thanks for having me.
no. Whatever. I feel like you did it wrong. You're supposed to say you're welcome because I said thank you. But it's good to have you. I don't know TMO's website, but if you do, this is where you're supposed to say it.
Oh, people know where to find TMO's website.
I guess that's it. You know where to go.
You betcha.
It's like Fight Club. You're not going to find it on a map. You just got to stand on the porch for a while.
I don't think you're supposed to talk about that.
That's why I'm not in it. I break the only rule they have. Ereni.
Hi.
Hi.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm Ereni, and I play a cleric that is in the Guild of Rampage.
A+. Do you guys have like a secret website, or do you have the name of it?
No, it's at rampageguild.com.
A+.
And please go there.
A+. And both those guilds, as I was mentioning, those completely unbiased, non-propaganda e-threads, they have threads just like that on www.project1999.com. Go there, check all the guild stuff out. There's a lot of guilds on the server. People might not realize that. You'll definitely find one that fits you, be you a casual or a competitive neckbeard. We have everything. And last and most certainly best of all of the people, we have the wonderfully wonderful Uberbandit.
Hello.
Hello, Uberbandit. Do you know you make me consistently happier than any other person I think I know?
I'm glad.
I hear the sound of your voice, and it just, all of my insides smile inside.
That's actually, I'm streaming carbon dioxide into your room. That's why you feel all lightheaded and fuzzy.
See, I thought it was because of other life decisions that I make, but that actually explains a lot. I was gonna ask if I could write off my bad decisions to you poisoning me slowly.
I mean, as your legal representative, I would advise against trying to charge your legal representative.
Ooh, that might not work out well. Oh, well, yes. Uberbandit, we are very pleased to have you. Are you in a guild? Do you have anything to plug? I know you have a stream. You have a very important stream. This guy streams 40 to 50 hours a week, every week, every day.
No, 50 to 40 hours a day, so I can get it right.
Whatever.
See it in another universe.
No, that's
I'm never invited.
That's every universe. And you know what? No one's invited. But if you follow him, then you'll just know when it happens.
Whoa, I'm following him.
Well, you should turn on your email notifications for him.
No, she doesn't mean in game or online. She just means she's actually.
She just follows him
right
around.
Outside his window, actually.
Oh, Uberbandit.
Oh, that's fine. It's fucking snow. You want to
what?
while you're at it?
You need a haircut.
Just got a haircut. It's not nice.
Oh, Uberbandit.
But I mean, streams are possible depending on. I mean, the big issue is I'm not on a wired internet connection, and so it's really sketchy.
How did that happen?
It's always been that way, but because I can't exactly drill holes through the floor.
Oh, that's true. That happened to me.
And I'm actually too lazy to try to run a cable through the ducts down into a closet and then out of it and then actually plug it in. It'd be nuts. But I'm doing things in the Guild Wars 2 now, so there's a possibility that might get streamed, much to everyone's dismay.
What are you playing?
The Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
What about
class?
Oh, I play a ranger in.
Of course you are.
What level?
I'm level capped.
Level 30?
No, 80 is the cap. Well, see, I could level through PvP, which was the biggest thing for me, because I get really bored attacking pixels that don't have a person to make really sad behind them.
Oh, so you enjoy tears, right?
Right. Unfortunately,
not dragon
you
tears.
cannot level on tiers.
Oh.
I almost started playing Guild War 2. Actually, I bought it, and then there was like some big issue where there was a lot of people who used other people's credit cards or something, and so they kicked a lot of people out of the game. But I used my legitimately bought it with my own credit card, and then they stole $60 from me, and I said I'm not playing your game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, if I stole $60 from you, I wouldn't expect you to play here.
Yeah.
Fact. So
Although, if I wore a mask, you wouldn't know.
yep,
I'm just saying, Nemce, watch your shit.
I'm watching it.
Wow.
Vander B in Proposal, Pros Pal? That's not a word, buddy. But thank you for hitting the follow button. Nemce, before I so rudely interrupted you, I believe you were telling me a story about Sunday.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
Tell me your Sunday.
Why don't you tell me how Sunday went down from your end first? 'Cause I have a fun story.
I got a message saying that EJ was lagging because there were 270 people fucking poop socking Sev. And so I shot over to EJ and I said, "Oh Lord, there's 270 people poop socking Sev." And then Sev popped, and then there was a fiasco because for some absurd reason, all of these mages have pets up, and they're not paying attention. And I get it. Like if you want to AFK track a dragon, I get that. If you want to multitask, yeah. You can't admit it. You can't tell people that's what you're doing. But I get it. I understand. I used to have the office in one monitor and like kind of have my left eyeball kind of paying attention to the other monitor. And maybe I'd notice something, maybe not. But I was doing my part. But if I was a mage doing that, and I know that an AE is going to go off and that my pet is going to get me on that FTE list, and that trackers are not allowed to be on the FTE list for any reason whatsoever, I wouldn't have a pet up. I just wouldn't do it because I don't need a pet up to get FTE. And spoiler alert, you're never going to be the only mage there. There's always going to be a dumb asshole with a pet, so you don't have to worry about trash getting you.
Sirken?
Yeah, buddy.
How do mages track?
They sit there and they use their eyeballs to look at an empty spot until that empty spot is occupied by a dragon.
I don't think that's tracking.
Oh, that's tracking.
That's face tracking.
That's non-ranger tracking. That's how all the subpars have to do
I think you're disgracing and slandering the word track. You don't understand how important that word is.
We could call it watching.
Okay, well,
that's better.
To protect ranger integrity, we'll refer to it as watching from here on out.
Uberbandit, the reason why mages have to do that now is because Nilbog made it so that mages are no longer useful for absolutely anything else in this game.
I mean, that's classic.
Oh. For mages.
Oh.
So anyway, you asked me a question. Yes, we killed. We had 7 raids on Sunday. We cleared Fear and got Shisar. We cleared Hate. We did FFA Maestro. Actually, it was Class C, but I guess no one cares about Maestro. So when you don't have VP, he's a little morale booster. So anyway, we went and killed him. We got Gornier, and we got Nagy, and we got Noble. So that all happened Sunday.
Nice.
You got repop, Noble?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Salty's in game telling people I'm gonna ban them.
Well, it's working. You have 900
I know.
streamers
Well,
or viewers.
99. But
Whatever.
I feel like I should thank Salty on some level.
You should.
Thanks, Salty.
As your league representative, I don't think you should endorse people telling them you're going to ban them.
I don't endorse people, whatever Uberbandit said. I do not endorse me telling people I'm going to ban them. But to be fair, I haven't. I haven't actually said I was going to ban anybody. Although, Elron the server legend is here, so if any of you people with swords want to ban someone in chat, you can just ban him for the lulz.
Can I mod him?
You can do
Why,
whatever you can do
He
what
seems to be doing okay.
because you know why?
Right?
Because he's tough and he can take it. I'm making him a stronger person, and one day he's gonna thank me for it.
What day?
I don't know. Everyone's different. But Knix and Ereni, what is this I hear about Class C not caring about high priority targets like Maestro?
Oh man, we did care. We
What
just,
happened?
couldn't do it because we were doing other things.
Well, really tell the truth. I mean, AG went up there and just
Actually,
it out
okay,
from
the
under
truth was Maestro popped while we were tracking Interuk. And it
Hold
would
on,
have
tracking or watching?
been tracking, aka pressing the tracking button
Okay.
and seeing if Interuk spawns.
Just making sure.
Right. And so we're not going to let an entire guild compromise Interuk when Maestro's up.
So
If
let's
he was
talk
up, like,
about
10
that a
hours.
little bit. Can I interject here?
I don't even know what
Sideways?
that means,
Of
actually.
course.
All right. So I know that there's some confusion about the raid rules on one level or the other. Trackers getting FTE was a confusing thing for a group of people a couple of weeks ago. But I've heard it both ways, and if you can lay down the law right here, right now, out loud, let's say that these fine people from Rampage went after Maestro, and then Any popped, and they were at the zone in because that's where they chose to pull Maestro. Are they all right pulling Maestro to the zone? They're not anywhere near Any, and then going and grabbing Any? Or can they leave, cap out, do whatever it is, and port back up and go after Any? Or does being in the zone, at the zone in hate, disqualify them from any encounter of that Any spawn?
Crickets.
Who are you asking that to?
I am asking the chief asshole.
Oh, you're
mean-
asking me.
Oh.
I'm asking you, Sirken. How do you deal with that? Because I've heard it both ways. I've heard that if you zone out and start over, you're going to be all right on the encounter.
Here's the thing. I don't know off the top of my head what the letter of the law is, but I've been a big proponent in the past of if there is a guild, say, farming up there, doing things up there, and they leave hate and then report up to hate, I don't think I've ever done anything to anybody for doing that.
That seems legit to me.
I mean, I don't know how I would feel about that with other zones where you could literally, like, say, with VS, where you could just, well, we're just going to hop over the zone line and then, excuse me, and then hop back over the zone line. But with hate, I mean, there's no zones. Like, you have to actually get groups together and port up and...
Yeah, that would be brutal on, the cost.
I don't
of it
feel
all.
like it's giving you an advantage at that point, I guess.
Is that something that you can codify? Because it's going to happen at some point. You're going to have to make a ruling at some point. You're going to have to codify it at some point, and it'll save you time if you say it out loud up front.
All right, well, somebody just asked camp and come out or port out and port back in. I'd say camping out is not even close to the same thing.
No, not at all. Because...
just to clarify that statement from chat right away, camping out is not ever gonna be okay in that situation.
I said cap, not camp.
No, not you. Yeah. I'm talking about
in my deal.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been misinterpreted.
Okay, yeah. I'm just in case. But I feel like hate would be a rare example. Like, I can't think of another zone where I'd be okay with that. And when you start making the rules, like, I've been working on a little thing to kind of update and consolidate and just put all the shit that's actually in place in one thread for everyone to look at and just have easy access to. And if I start making, like, well, in this zone you can do this, but only in this zone, and then
so
here
section A, column B.
Yeah.
No,
like,
I don't think you're right though, because for example, let's say that you got a bunch of people getting experience in disco, right?
Mhm.
And track pops.
Mhm.
If they zone all the way out, could they participate in the track raid? I would say yes. If a guild is clearing fear and any pops, if they got clear all the way the hell
Time out.
out,
Stay in sublist for a second. That would never
okay.
work, because at that point I'm gonna have to dictate specific camps, and if I don't dictate specific camps, then you're gonna have people being like, "Oh no, we were just clearing jugs. I promise, everybody took the ball back behind the line. None of us are cheating."
Well,
And then I'm gonna have to go through and look and make sure every single person did that.
well, yeah. I mean, but
That's
why not say that?
that's
Why
never
not
gonna be a
say
thing.
get out of the zone, entirely out of the zone, come back in, and you're okay? Why not say that? I don't see the harm in it.
Because I have to actually verify that people are doing that.
All right, then make it hard and fast on the other end then. But
That's
make it
why we
moving.
just say, don't be past the
In the
zone
zone.
line, or
Okay.
whatever it is.
Or even at the zone line in hate.
Oh yeah, see, hate. See,
Hate's a
that's why
bitch.
you don't have just black and white rules like this is how it is, the end. Because
Well,
every zone is a little bit different. Every
Well, see,
encounter
that's
is a
why
little
we
bit
don't
different.
take chances like that.
but it's
It's all
incumbent
mainstream-
upon you as the rule enforcer to write rules that are enforceable. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
because
Well,
you
he
have
did,
to do
and-
it eventually.
He
I wrote
did
all
in
kinds
terms
of
of no one
rules.
can be past the zone line.
All right, except in hate.
I
Well,
mean,
because there's no zone
we
line
still
in hate.
we still have to.
Time out.
Didn't
There's no zone line in hate. That's why you can't be at the zone line in hate.
All right.
didn't we determine that we have to pour it out in order to come back in and kill
No,
any?
he's saying if you're doing things, right? Like if you're doing things in hate.
So if you're at the entrance of hate and any pops, then we can legitimately go after any. Is that what you're saying?
No. No.
Okay, so
I'm saying
then
you'd
we
have to pour it out
out,
and pour it
right.
back in, yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh man, see,
Okay.
it's
So,
already being rule lawyered right here in real time.
I think
Well-
let's get the 3-year-old's perspective on this. It sounds like the question is, if a group is doing a thing in an area where the boss spawns, not related to the boss, can they go slay the boss? Is this
No.
the question?
Not without zoning out or porting out and porting back in, but that's not what she said. She implied that, what if we're just sitting at the zone line, sitting on our butts?
Isn't that what poop socking is?
That is what poop socking is, and that's what all the guilds agreed to stop doing when we shortened the windows, which nobody has stopped doing.
All right, so let's clarify. You think it's okay if they were to pull Maestro to the zone line, and then get the hell out if any spawned, or before any spawned, and then come back in. I think you could make the same argument for Fear, and those would be the only two zones wherein you could make that argument.
Fear's dangerous too, because you can bind right outside, literally right out. You can gate and jump right back in.
So?
So that kind of defeats the purpose, no?
Yeah.
Well,
Street
Half of you can gate and come back in.
Well,
And
no,
you
the
can
melee-
zone
Easy
out.
has it right.
You can zone
own-
out of fear. Sorry, next.
You can zone out, but if you've got more than 2 players, basically, if you have more than 2 trackers in the zone when something spawns, you're just out. That's the reason why when it's Class C CT, you don't see any Class C guilds in there doing any clears or anything, because if it spawns while you're there, you're out.
And this might just be laziness from my POV, but that system requires the absolute least amount of work from a CSR standpoint, and that's kind of what we look for, because contrary to what a lot of people believe, there's a lot more to CSR than raid disputes. And that's part of the reason. I know you specifically, Cloki, have mentioned to me in our one-on-one talks that you would like to see me have a better turnaround time on the raid petitions. And the thing with that is, I don't sit down to do petitions until I have a large chunk of time, and I do all the petitions with people that have actual problems first. And if I don't finish those, or if I don't make it, I mean, I have a lot of petitions, but if I don't finish them all, like, I'm not even going to start on the raid petitions until I do the people with actual problems, like server problems, or problems that are because of the server, or something because of us. And like, player-made garbage problems are the bottom of my priority list when it comes to a CSR GM point of view. Because
in any working organization, you look at how many resources you have to the expenditure of resources.
you have one resource, buddy. You have one.
Exactly. So you need to figure out a process by which one person can handle the expenditure.
I'm trying to get more staff. I've got 3 staff I got 3 people approved by Rogan and Nilbog right now as guides. I don't know. We were talking about bringing 4, and then there was kind of a disagreement on the 4th person. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just do these 3. Let's just get the ball rolling. I know Eunomia and Morgan and Aussie and myself too. We're all doing way too much shit right now. And
wait a second. What is Uberbandit doing with his life?
He represents me and keeps me out of legal trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So what better person to have as your cohort in crime?
Do you have any idea how much shit I would get if I brought somebody who comes on this stream on staff?
That's happened before, hasn't it?
I don't think I've brought staff on stream, but I don't think anyone who's been like a regular person here has ever joined staff.
He doesn't have to go under the name Uberbandit.
No, but when he comes on,
Bandit or something.
Okay, when Super Bandit comes on stream with his sexy voice, everyone's gonna know who it is.
Uberbandit can't lie.
All right. So, mucho respect for getting the real people's problems taken care of and putting the raid stuff on the back burner. Now, let me get back to the jugular here and say that we've got a bunch of people in this conversation, and then a bunch of people in chat, and then you're equivocating a little bit. I don't care what you decide. I don't care how you decide it. Say it in black and white. Set it in stone. Make it simple to understand, and that will keep people out of your hair and reduce the petition queue, because people will self-regulate and behave better.
Well, that system for what you're describing is in place. You might not think it's perfect or like it, but there is a system in place.
I don't have to like it, but what I have to know is, yes, you can zone out of fear, no, or hate. No, you can't zone out of fear. I have not seen that written anywhere.
I will make a note in the thing about hate, but I won't make a note saying the same thing about any other zone.
Right. Hate is different. You can't have more than 2 in any other zone, or like Rogan said, near the raid target. You know, whatever the rules. I don't care what the rules are.
I don't know. You know what? I might even
got a raid standing on my head.
I might just say that you can't even port in and out of hate. I might just say
that's
that
fine too.
Because
I support
it would be easier just to do like every zone is the same, even though it makes sense and no one gets an advantage. Just every zone is the same because it's easier and less confusing.
Just codify that shit out loud to prevent stuff coming in on the back end.
Sirken, you are the man. Make the rule. Lay the law.
Oh man, I've got a 4-page
As Sirken's legal advice, I think his intention of trying to get all the raid rules down to one place in a thread is the proper method. It just takes a minute for him to write that shit down.
It's already 4 pages.
Ain't no time for that.
They don't care. They don't care
at all. He's doing the work. He's doing it.
He is.
Thanks, Sirken.
Oh, okay. What about the open petitions?
What open? There's like 50 of them waiting for me right now.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the idea of that they had in server chat a little while ago, where the petitions that the guilds put in for raids would be open for viewing by everyone.
The only thing that I really have the only stipulation I have regarding that is that I wouldn't want them made public until they're resolved. I wouldn't want things in progress to be public. Because when I talk to people in the petition forum, it's a lot different than when I talk to them in front of their friends. I don't have to worry about them being like, oh, everyone's going to think I have a small penis if you talk to me that way. And so
You tell players they have a small penis.
Well, not in those exact words, but I'm sure I've
never
made
told you,
some
Knix?
people feel pretty small and insignificant.
What'd you say?
We've not had that discussion.
No, we definitely haven't. So, yeah.
Knix doesn't
Oh.
know.
Dragon Reborn says 2 lockouts for a specific mob is a joke. What do you think he means by that?
Oh, what he means by that is that in Class R right now you've got what supposedly was supposed to be the 3 big guilds, right? It was supposed to be okay. We're delving into the juicy stuff in Class R. We've got Taken, Divinity, and BDA, and BDA and Taken were supposed to be rotating those mobs within themselves, and Divinity was supposed to be the 3rd one. That's why BDA and Divinity helped Taken, or I'm sorry, BDA and Taken helped Divinity out on a couple of their mobs by clearing Jugs and Protector and Tola when it was their Trachanon, thinking that they would be able to help them in that way. Things like that. So they've been helping each other out. Two lockouts with that many guilds allows it to be just a rotation amongst them, so they don't have to share with the smaller, newer guilds. So he wants an increase in lockouts. So that's not gaming the system.
It's like a Class R or a Class C within Class R.
You're exactly right. Now, here's the fun thing. If we, as Gimpatron or the CSG Alliance, wanted to change this, we couldn't even if we wanted to. If we said, we're going to stop fighting Divinity, which we've beaten, 9 out of 10 of the mobs. We lost CT at 1% because of desync. We had 133 players on our Alliance. And so we got him down to 1% and then died. And while we were regrouping, they got him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was really, really sad. There was one monk trying to whirlwind it out, and he couldn't target him. He was watching him run around at 1%, and he couldn't target him. It was so sad. But anyway, so they thought that would be the case, but the Alliance has been beating Divinity and Indignation. We lost Indignation on Sev because of they had a tracker that was not faction and then got aggro, and it caused a lot of trouble. But in any case, that's in the works. But if we wanted to make BDA and Taken fight each other, say we went after BDA because they're out of lockout, well, they would just beat Divinity next time or Indignation next time. And so, or let's go for Taken. Taken would just end up beating Divinity or Indignation because we would be on lockout. So unless there are 2 strong guilds that can fight BDA and Taken, there's never a case when BDA has to fight Taken from this point until the end of time.
So let me make 2 points in addition to this. I agree with everything Nemce said. One thing is we do need to give Indignation credit. They have really stepped up their game, and they just whipped us good on Faye because they planned better and they executed better. The other thing is that I was privy and a part of the initial negotiations that brought RC and FFA into existence. And one of the things, if I remember correctly, and it's hard to know if we can remember correctly because all of those forums have been memory hold, but the 2 guild lockout, not the 2 guild, but the 2 turn lockout was meant to be a squishy thing and was meant to be adjusted given the number of guilds that were in R as sort of an incentive to get things moving from R to C in the sort of the incubation way that gets talked about sometimes.
All right, hold on. Let me Kanye West you real quick. The reason we did lockouts, I don't know what you meant by the squishy thing, but the reason we did lockouts is so that one guild can't just dominate all the shit. Right. And the reason it's 2 and not more than 2 is because if we did if there's 2 big guilds in there, fine, then 2 works. But now Divinity's part of that, so you add a 3rd one, and then eventually a 4th guild's gonna. And if you just keep adding lockout spots, that's not fixing the problem because eventually all that's gonna do is just rebuild a rotation because there's gonna be so many lockouts that there's only gonna be 1 capable guild or 1 guild able to engage the mob. So and that's not what we want to do either. Sirken.
Was 2 an arbitrary number? The right answer to that is yes.
I didn't pick the number, so I don't know.
Well, it's clearly arbitrary. I mean, it was chosen.
I think it was chosen based on the fact that there were two borderline C guilds in R when R was formed.
Well, that's still the case today. And the only reason that Divinity is not being one of those big three is because Cloki, myself, and the Council of Europa have gotten together and made an alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not playing the way we want to play. I mean, obviously, we
What are you guys doing that you don't want to do? Give me some examples, because I don't know. I don't play this game.
Being one of 220 going after Sev.
And that's not a problem in that...
270.
I mean...
That's a phone.
Oh god, ow.
That's
Never again.
That's
Cloki.
I thought my phone was
recognize
bad.
that phone.
That like had an actual bell.
Yeah, Cloki's got like some sort of rotary phone or something in his kitchen. I don't know.
That's pretty awesome.
It's made of Bakelite.
I don't even...
What?
I don't.
It's
I heard
made of
literal.
bacon?
I thought he was gonna make a joke, and then I realized he was saying a real word.
Well, that's still yet to be proven. I don't believe.
Somebody
Bakelite is a
Google
word.
Bakelite.
I got it. Bakelite is a chemical compound called polyoxybenzylmethylig. Oh my gosh, methylglycolanhydride.
This is really interesting. Keep going, please.
It's a plastic. It's an early plastic.
It
And
is.
It is now what? Because I
How
know.
does plastic make that sound?
I know that you know what that is, but let
It's
me
the old Ma Bell phones.
explain. It's a thermosetting phenyl
Look.
formaldehyde. Oh my gosh, I know that word. Formaldehyde resin.
All right. First of all, your phone sounds extremely toxic and unsafe.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm gonna need you to take a picture of your phone, and I'm gonna need you to submit it to the petition form so that I can see it at some point.
I can do that.
Because I'm genuinely curious on this.
I see if I can dig up my old modem, the old 300 baud that you actually set the handset in. You remember those?
God. Yes.
No, I don't really
Nope.
remember phones.
I might have been too.
I blocked them all out of my life.
Oh my god, I'm really dating myself.
Yeah, I choose not to do that. I'm young on the inside.
I grew up with a rotary phone.
All right, I'm gonna answer your question.
Oh yeah, tell me what you have to do.
What was your question again?
I want to know
Jesus.
what he has to do that he doesn't want to do, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so there's two sides. There's what the players have to do and what the officers have to do, and then there's an internal side. Okay, so let's start with the internal side. The internal problem is that because now mobs die in like 5 minutes, that's pretty realistic. Every mob dies in around 5 minutes, aside from Trakenon, who dies in around 10 minutes. That means that if players aren't logged in, ready to go, or like poop socking, or if they're not at the home screen, ready to log in at a moment's notice throughout the night, there's an influx of DKP that's occurring, and they're not part of it. So the people that are in the guild that are, or favoritism, or whatever it is that your guild council runs on, if you do like a loot council or whatever, like whatever. But bottom line is, if you're somebody who's capable of logging in at a moment's notice consistently, then you're going to be able to you're going to be a contributing member of the guild, whereas otherwise you can't, which is a very hardcore mentality, and a lot of people didn't join our guilds for that purpose. So that's the internal issue. Then you've got an officer issue. The officers are not used to being the ones tracking non-stop, whereas you could track Sev before, every so often. Like
You
30
mean,
just pop
sorry,
in.
hold on, just for clarification, when you say tracking non-stop, do you mean like sitting at a mob for a lot of hours, or do you mean bouncing from mob to mob to mob?
I mean, if you've got a mob up, let's say there's 4 mobs up, you're even if you're choosing only one mob, you still have to have 16 hours worth of tracking going on, of constant tracking. That doesn't mean like having somebody in on character staring at. That's what that means, staring at the mob the entire time. Whereas before, you could be on there, get up, go do something, make a sandwich, come back, go sit, watch a movie with your wife, and have your laptop open in front of you. Oh, the mob's popped. Sound the bat phone. So that's like the casual tracking. That's what tracking was. Now tracking has to be you're staring at it until your eyeballs bleed and ready, hovering over the button to sound the bat phone while call a hero ducking. So that's the officer side. And the player side is that if you're fighting Trakenon or something, or forget Trakenon, say you're fighting Sev, something that has to die the second FTE happens, the very quick fight, or Talendor. You have very small amount of time to log in. A lot of people just sit there, even in Class R. They'll just poop socket. Which we actually, and I'm a little sad to say this, have had a lot of people do that. But if you think about the fact that we're 3 separate guilds, we've all had maybe 5 people who are like, yeah, I'm just sitting here anyway, not doing anything, so I'll just sit online. And so, that's 15 people ready to go. That's 2 groups that are ready to go at an instant. But we don't want to have to do that.
I feel like I'm about to Kanye West your ass too, actually.
Take it.
All right, here's another thing. I don't know if you're talking about like specifically within Class R or maybe some free-for-all stuff, but
No.
I pop in and out of these raid areas, and unless something is real late in window, you don't have everybody there. Like, people have to get bat phoned, people have to log in. Like, I watch these zones just blow up. I know Trakenon is a perfect example. You always have some people at the entrance, but do a who all right before, or a who on the zone right before Trakenon spawns, and then do one 10 minutes after the bat phones go out, and you can see clear as day that tons of people are logging in and not just staring at an empty spot on their monitor.
I'm not necessarily talking about a whole raid force, but like if we're talking about Seb specifically, you've got to have the call of the hero. It's not just one tracker. It's dedicated people from your guild. That there's a bard at entrance, there's a bard running silos at entrance in group with the mage. Then you have another bard in the group running the MR song, so that when you call a hero, your silos bard in, he already has both of those things and doesn't get charmed or whatever the case is.
Right.
So that's already 3 players. And each one of these things have very, Fated R, you've got a ranger and a mage, and then whoever your FTR is.
Multiple mobs require pull teams.
Let me say this. Welcome to Class C. Just
I know.
get your tag over your head, okay?
Seriously.
Welcome.
Well, and I think that might be the point, is that, I mean, like I said earlier, I kind of recruit to the person and not the class, and part of our charter is, you put your real life first. If you need to go on an extended hiatus, we're not going to boot you from the guild. If you can't answer the bat phone, you don't answer the bat phone. And we've got mostly, I don't know, people from their early 20s to their 40s with a job and a family and all kinds of other things that aren't ready and willing to pop on at an instant notice. And that's why they're in Omni. I mean, if they, and we lose people to Class C guilds who are willing to do that. But I think that what Nemce is saying is that we, have a way that we'd prefer to play. And right now, Class R is similar to Class C in a lot of ways. And it's annoying as hell because, this isn't the EQ that is as much fun as it was before. And I think that's just the bottom line.
Okay.
And maybe this sounds whiny, and maybe this is the way that P99 wants to be run. And if it is, it's their world, and we'll deal with it. But it's less interesting to me than it was before.
I just want them to be identified.
What about, I think I hear what you're saying. What happens when the Class R should actually be in Class C? Who makes that decision?
Well, that's a hard question, I think. I mean, I think that
Hold
that's
on, time out. I want to address something you just kind of implied before we move off of it. Not every, if you pull TMO or Rampage, and if you pull their attendance records, I guarantee you not every member is going to be at 100%.
Nobody said that.
I know. Hold on, though. But the notion that real life doesn't come first, or if you've got to take a leave of absence, or if you just don't feel like answering bat phones in the middle of the night, that you're going to get booted, or or that you're a subclass citizen, I think is kind of garbage.
Thank you.
No, it's
Thank you for
not.
saying that.
Well, hold on.
I do think it's garbage. And
Hold on. I don't think what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think. Okay, imagine a scale, and on one side is TMO, and on the other side is or Class C, and the other side is Class R. The scale is not decent human beings on one side and garbage people on the other. It's how much time are you willing to spend, or capable of committing to a game that impedes upon real life. And if you have more time to spend and you're more competitive and you're interested in that hardcore lifestyle, I can't speak for the other guys in the CSG Alliance, but Azure Guard welcomes them into TMO. We say, hey, you know what? This might not be the guild for you. You're very, very dedicated to this game. We appreciate having you. We'd love to have you, but you might do better in one of those hardcore guilds. And I've sent people to them with that exact conversation, because I believe that they are great people over there in Class C. They just want to play the game a little bit differently. They have a little bit more resources to dedicate, whereas Class R don't, and we want to play the game a little bit differently. It's no one's garbage people here.
I don't think that was ever.
I'm not saying in guilds or.
I mean, it was
Class
kind of
C.
implied. Like,
I'm saying
Class C people have jobs, they have families, they don't spend 16 hours every week sitting at a fucking pad. You know what I mean? Like, we have things that we prioritize. If we can't go to a bat phone, then we don't, and we're still in a Class C setting. So it's pretty much what you described is basically the same thing as Class R people. I mean, how much do you guys play a week? Like, how many hours do you guys play a week?
Yeah, maybe more than a lot of the Class C people do, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
well, it's just
really, like, I think it's, all about playing in different settings, but it's playing more efficiently, I guess, maybe, in terms of what the rules allow. I would say that, like, Class C people don't really enjoy everything that's going to happen or that's happening right now, but, I mean, we're dealing with what the competition entails, what it takes to get the dragon. That's the difference.
Maybe I should reframe this then, because I did not want to imply that you guys were a bunch of Cheeto-stained neckbeards or anything like that. And I think that Nemce is right in bringing up a spectrum or a continuum here. But I think that if we just shuck the data or shuck the opinions and look at the pure data and look at how quickly a target dies, how quickly people get on after a bat phone, I think that we're talking about people who have prioritized things differently. I mean, I think that the Class C targets die. Class C people get on more quickly than Class R targets do. And I think that that's, for a variety of reasons that we could probably identify, but I don't think that the numbers would be equivocal if we were to look at them.
I think you're right, but I think a huge part of that is because guilds like TMO and Rampage, have an absolute shit ton of people, and B, and I don't know, maybe you guys have this too, but I also know they have people from all kinds of countries, people that are able to log in on Euro times, people that are able to log in on American times, and then you have people that are able to log in the middle of the night, and every guild has those. But I mean, a lot of times, if you're just in the other room playing your Xbox and a bat phone goes off, you can pause that shit and log in to kill a dragon. If you're eating dinner with your wife or your kids or your girlfriend or your dog, anyone, obviously you shouldn't be like, oh, sorry guys, I know Thanksgiving's important, but Trachanon spawn and priorities. But I mean,
let's talk about New Year's Eve. Which mobs dropped on New Year's Eve and which didn't?
Everything dropped. There was a repop, I do believe.
I know you do.
Because Rogan just hates all of you guys.
Yeah, I think that was my point, and I don't think everything dropped.
I'm pretty sure everything got killed. I'd be shocked if not. Or maybe because there's those bag limits, actually. I always forget bag limits are a thing.
Bag limits.
Do one of you Class C people or R people, I don't know, somebody explain bag limits.
On a repop, a guild can only take 2 targets outside of VP. 2 of the targets that are defined as raid targets.
Does that include Noble?
No, Noble's not on that list. Neither is Yale.
Does it include Finny?
No.
But he's a dragon.
Not really.
Look, it was officially ruled on. He was a dragon.
I'm pretty sure he's not a dragon.
Now,
I don't know how you get raid suspended from not a dragon.
If you took a mermaid and a fish and made them have a baby, that baby would be Finny.
I mean, what are dragons but really big fish?
No.
Now, let me make an argument here that Class C needs to be making. Class C needs to be saying, we have real lives, like you're saying, and you should say, and Sirken said that you're larger organizations, which is true, and that's important, that span the time frames. But one thing that Class C is that R isn't, Class C is way more efficient, way more skilled, and has way better tactics.
Very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, just way better at getting that engaged and getting it done, and way more practiced. And hats off and kudos. I mean, we're still honing and tuning strategies on some of the tougher encounters, and I mean, we're not as skilled and as experienced as you guys are.
I know.
You know what? I think I should say thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
No, it's true.
Absolutely true. Like, we don't know where things spawn. We don't know where we have to be in terms of tracking things. The actual encounters are kind of simplistic, but not always. So, I mean, we're learning. Mostly it's raid environment.
That's just time, though. I mean, every time you do the encounter, you're going to learn something, and you're going to get better at it each time you do it. The trick is you just got to do it. And maybe, like you said, Nemce, like you said earlier, you've told people to maybe consider joining a guild that's more suitable to what they're looking for, because that's not what your guild focuses on or prioritizes. And I think that's a really important thing, because not every guild is the same. I would dare argue that none of the guilds are the same. Some might be real similar, but they're not. And every guild offers a little bit different. Every guild treats things a little bit different, and it's important to have that variety. But one thing that I think I've said to you guys privately too is, while I believe everybody should get some of the pie, I don't believe every guild is created equally. I don't believe everybody deserves an equal sized piece of the pie. If
I
you
don't
have
think anybody in art thinks that either.
Right, no, I'm not saying you guys
Well,
do.
That's not true.
Some in our do.
I'm saying you two specifically might not feel that way, but I'm saying these things because I've read these thoughts on message boards. Like, they're out there. People do have them.
I'm going to bring up a point that you kind of just mentioned but skipped over. You said, and I made the point that, yeah, I send people to TMO and to now Rampage and things like that. Actually, I just sent one of my warriors over to Rampage, Salatus. He's a really good guy, a really dedicated player.
Yeah,
but
he is a really good guy.
He's fantastic. I really like him. I was really sad to see him go. I just enjoy his time. He's a good person. But anyway, there's a place for them, and there was a place for the other people. But I don't know if Omni feels this, or if Europa or any of the others feel this, but even though we're getting mobs, it's because we're having to change everything to fit into this more hardcore, highly efficient machinery that is the Class C raid style. There are people in my guild that are just quitting the game. And I've mentioned this to you, but I'd like to say it publicly. There are people that are just quitting because there's no place for them anymore. I can't say that we are defenders of the casual guild on Blue anymore. We have this little homeostasis where you can live a casual life and come on, play when you want. Even though you get less mobs, you come in that knowing that, but you can play a more meandering pace rather than a bum rush. and so people just leave. They don't go to other guilds. They just quit because there is no other place for them anymore.
I mean, so what seems to be missing is a system wherein a casual style of engagement can exist, because as it stands in the game, a thing spawns and the first person to kills it. That's it. And in order to have that sort of casual environment, you're gonna have to make a system that actually cultivates that.
Well, there was one. There absolutely was one. I mean, that happened. We had 4 hours to kill a mob. That might have been too much, and I'm okay with saying that now that we've gone through the gauntlet, we can probably kill anything, even enemy meandering pace, at maybe 2 hours. Certainly in 2 hours. But we had a system where you could log in. If you were asleep that night, you missed the mob. There was still a sense that, you know, we're not going to hold the mob for you until it's your prime time. But 4-hour window, log in if you can and kill the thing. And now that no longer exists. You got much less mobs because everybody was there, and there was a nice slice of the pie, very small, because everyone shared it. But you got it at that casual pace that no longer exists.
Yeah, I guess that the larger guilds in Class R was saying that the smaller guilds were getting the same slice of pie that the bigger guilds had to share too.
And my argument to that is, if you want a larger slice of the pie, number one, you can go to Class C because that's where that's offered. Just saying. I mean, there has to be an incentive to go to Class C. Otherwise, why?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a carrot at the end of the stick, as Eretani frequently says in our debates and whatnot.
Yeah, Asgard just got 2 mobs on the last repop. I forget which one they were, but
They were nice ones, and they got great loot. I think it was
fantastic
7
loot.
Any or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate it. I haven't seen a mage epic in 4 years. But in any case, but I know that going into it, if I want a mage epic, I could just leave and go to another guild. That's fine. Anyway, hey, why am I casting a bolt spell and hitting my pet? What the heck? That's not an object.
Is it standing in front of you?
Yes.
You can't cast behind things anymore.
I know.
Shit's
I just
classic.
Line of sight is an important thing.
Anyway.
So anyway, I think it's more of an issue for the staff than it is for us. I mean, if the staff wants to cultivate an environment wherein the casual players can play, and this is something that I think that we probably all should be working toward, is I really enjoy the competition, to be honest with you, but I think that, I don't know, I watch a lot of MMA, and I think it would be an awful thing to see.
I have a feeling that would violate our play nice policy.
One of these bantamweights taking on, a light heavyweight. It would just be ugly. But I love watching bantamweights fight bantamweights. I love watching the welters fight the welters, and I think that a stratification among the guilds, with say AG and Omni competing, or BDA and Taken competing, Rampage and TMO competing in sort of an organic way would probably give.
Well,
I don't
TMO
know.
and Rampage do compete in a sort of organic way.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying
If
is
organic means spitting on each other.
Well, I mean, the staff isn't forcing you guys to compete. You guys just do it naturally.
Well, right, but there's a cut called C, and that's called, that's the heavyweight division of P99. And, there are a million ways to get this done, and I really enjoy competition, but I'm, not going after CT when, TMO's in the zone, for example, because that's not competition. It's just, spattered Omni. But anyway, I mean, this is a question for the staff. This isn't a question for us. It's a question, as to, do they care to cater to the more casual, smaller guilds who are smaller for a reason. And I think that the RCFFA division was sort of a nod in that direction, and it's gone sideways a little bit. And I think, nobody really knows what to do with what's going on right now.
I mean, I'm sure if I asked Knix or Ereni here, they would say that they think the RFFA thing is stupid and that the entire server should be FFA.
Well, I believe that, but on the same hand, think about a natural ecosystem, right? I mean, any one of the R guilds can theoretically and historically take down any of the high value targets on the server apart from VP, and that might just be a matter of time and keys.
You want
and
to
so
sorry, go ahead.
and so what we have is we have a 6-gallon fish tank full of maybe 10 sharks of various sizes. And if you think about, I don't know, the great white, for example, in the wild, you don't have the great white eating the plankton and the krill. They're going after the larger fish, the tuna, and that sort of a thing. And I think that a guild like MC, for example, Moonlight Crusaders, is probably well configured to be going after Maestro, for example, and starting, at the bottom of the food chain and climbing the ladder. But if you've got Rampage and TMO going after every FFA Maestro, and the smaller shark being MC doesn't even get a chance at that. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, the apex predators don't consume everything in the food chain.
Here's the thing. The problem, as you well know, is, as you just described, there are too many predators in the food chain, and it's because same content for 4+ years. That said, you can't talk about a natural whatever environment, but then also promote the class system, because in a true natural environment, the bigger, faster, quicker to mobilize guilds do get all the content.
Yeah, but you're missing the point here.
That's the
the
natural
ocean.
order.
The ocean isn't a closed system. P99 is, and so because P99 is a closed system, you need top-down intervention to replicate nature rather than say this is nature in a bucket.
Hey, MC actually is no longer a thing.
I was using them as an example.
Well, I mean, it's actually something to mention. Like I was saying earlier, that there's no place for... I've got people that just have been quitting the game. Said maybe I'll come back when Velios comes out. MC just ceases to exist because they're a Class R guild in a Class C system. There's just no place for them anymore. Kimja just said that.
I don't want to sound like a dick, but I can't think of anything over that angry typing. I can't think of
I thought that was you.
No, that's not me. I can't
me.
think of a classic
Ereni.
server that had 12 raiding guilds on it. And again, I know that's the cock block of Kunark, but I mean that's a real problem. And the current system, it's not perfect, and Lord knows it's not the system I would have put in place if I had my magical perfect world. But it's something, and it does give all these guilds something. At least, I mean, when you were rotating, you guys got more. But I know...
No, we got less. We got far less.
Sorry. Wait. No. When you guys were rotating, you got more than you did before the class system existed.
Oh, yes, correct.
But even now, with their rotation completely abolished, and I know Repops was a big part of this, I still hear tales of good, happy, successful times from Nemce, like what happened on Sunday, and I know Omni gets mobs. Like, without any class system, you guys wouldn't get shit. And I'm not trying to sound like, take your scraps and be happy with it, because I realize that's how it's sounding right now. But
No.
that's not how I'm trying to sound.
No, I understand, but Omni Cloki mentioned it. He said it exactly right. If it's a matter of what you guys up top want for your server, if you want a place where R's can be, where there can be an R class, then there's a system for it, or there should be a system for it. And if currently there is a system for it, is the point. And if there is a system for it, we've got to make it an R system. If you don't want that, then get rid of it, and we'll either survive or collapse, and that's just the bottom line.
Well, why don't I turn this to the couple Class C people I have here? I'll start with Knix, because you guys mentioned there has to be a carrot on the end of the stick. Knix and Ereni both have been in Class C for a while. Knix, what is the... And then Ereni, I'll come to you next. But Knix, what would you say is the carrot on the end of the stick? Like, what is the incentive, in your opinion, that makes Class C better than Class R? Why should a guild in Class R strive to make the leap into Class C? And if you need a couple minutes, you can tell me.
As long as the Class Rs are allowed to maintain their Class R status and play like Class C, you're not going to get them up to Class C.
Well, the thing is, that sucks. So you're saying there is no carrot. There's no reason for
There's
a guild.
no carrot for Class R to go to Class C. When they can just dominate the Rs, there's no way that they'll move. The only way you could make it a negative carrot, and like they were saying, make the rotation lockout longer for the Class Rs. Make them wait out 4, make them wait 5, because then that would rotate in the lesser guilds.
It would slow down the big guilds, yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I guess I didn't really think about it that way, but I guess you have a point there.
Yeah, and I think that's what they were talking about early in the call, about them switching it to the lockouts were longer than just 3. Is it 3 or just 2?
It's 2, and having him squishy. I mean, tuning it to the number of guilds and actually creating a quasi-organic incentive from the top down rather than yoinking people, like you could if you wanted. But putting a threshold there and essentially dragging somebody to the crossroad.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get more here or there?
The other thing is that you put this system in to control them, and they're currently using this system to manipulate you. I'm honestly, Class R was put into place for a reason, and they're playing like Class C, and they're allying up with each other to make it so that they never have to fight each other because there are only 2 lockouts. They're manipulating the server.
I agree.
And there's nothing we can do about it because, like I said, if we beat one of them, if we manned up, which we really tried to do early on and we just didn't have the skill, if we would have done this initially when everybody had the leftover lockouts, we could have fixed this. But we didn't have the knowledge then. We now do, and we're capable probably of beating TMO or BDA to something. But even if we did, there needs to be another strong entity to beat them again before they have to compete with 2 lockouts.
Within Class R, you mean?
Correct.
Oh, man. What about you, Ereni? Do you have any thoughts on a possible carrot at the end of the stick?
I mean, the incentive for Class C is to get all of the Class C mobs. And you can do that if you want to, if you can do it. But the deterrent is that they can be lazy and they can do it the easy way and still get enough mobs to satisfy their needs.
Oh my goodness, you said that well.
Yeah, you did.
And, I mean, the staff, they have to do more work in order to make things better for the server. And, I mean, do they have time to do that? I don't know. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what the answer is. But this is what we have right now, and we have to deal with it. And, Class C deals with it in their own way, and Class R is dealing it in their own way. And it fucking sucks for some people.
Oh, man.
It's how it is.
It seems like the object or the point of conflict in R especially is the groups that are quote-unquote lazy, and then the groups that just don't want to dedicate that level of activity. And those 2 things are really close to each other. Laziness is being equivalented to fun. I can't, the word doesn't come to me, but does it sort of make sense? There's the guilds that don't want to work that hard, and then there's the guilds that are lazy.
I think lazy is a bad term.
Yeah.
The smaller guilds is what you're equating with lazy, and I don't think that's the case.
That's not true. I'm talking about BDA and Taken.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think the small guilds are getting really what Class R is what's about, what it is about. And it kind of sucks for Class C because, TMO and Rampage, they want to kill all the mobs, and they can't do it. So, they have to do what they don't want to do, right? They're like stuck in a corner. And so is the small class R guilds, which is why there is a class system in the first place. So really these big class R guilds are the one who is winning, and they're the minority in all of this. And so the majority really isn't getting what they want out of this game when you look at it.
So labeling the problem as then these pseudo class R guilds, I mean, what do you do to move them out? Because they don't want to be in C and they don't fit in R.
Well, so there's one of two ways to handle it. I mean, you either change the rule set to make them choose to go into Class C, or you yoink them into Class C. And one of those two questions or solutions is a lot more palatable, I think, generally than the other.
I'm going to peel back this onion a little bit, one step further. There's also, just like there's no incentive for BDA or Taken to move to Class C, there's no incentive for anybody in Class R to fight BDA or Taken. None. Because if we can't fix it, why would we go against the stronger guild with 10 times our people, or 10 times our experience, I should say, when we could go against Divinity every time? Because there's only 2 lockouts, we can go against Divinity every single time, and Divinity can go against us every single time, and we never have to go against Taken or BDA.
Here was my problem originally. In my brain, I see adding more lockouts as just kind of it turning into a staff forced rotation. But I don't know. I think Knix.
That's what 2 lockouts is anyway, though. I mean, what's the difference between 2 and 4?
Well,
no, right now
it's technically it's 2 guilds are locked out. We'll say Divinity and BDA are locked out, and then it's Taken and quote unquote Gimpatron, and technically every other guild on the server that's not Class C. Basically, it's not Asgard, TMO, or Rampage, can compete for that mob. And I forgot where I was going with that. Doesn't even matter.
It's because you're not making any sense.
I feel I was about to make sense. I was about to make so much sense, and then
I think
the
what you're
wind
saying
got pulled
is
out of my sails.
Increasing the amount of lockouts does,
Thank you, Uberbandit.
It puts the pseudo class R's with an incentive to move to C. You're also choking the rest of the Class R guilds.
It's not bad, though. And I mean, here's the deal. The reason that lockouts existed...
All right, time out. Someone in chat, Vasak BDA, he said 5 lockouts. So I'm just going to use that as a fucking random number that we're pulling out of a hat here. Let's say it was 5 lockouts. And then let's say Omni... And let's say Omni and Azure Guard work together and take down Kazakh Thule or Gore or something. And now you guys can't touch that thing for 5 spins of the R wheel.
You're missing the whole point, Sirken.
I'm just saying, is that okay, though? Would that be acceptable?
Sirken, go up 1 level. You're missing the whole point.
All right, level 2.
Don't see lockouts as a fixed number, okay? See the results as something that informs the number of lockouts. For example, let's say that you upped the lockouts to give a larger guild, whoever it was, an incentive to leave Class R and try Class C. At that point, there would be fewer guilds in R, so you'd necessarily tune the number of lockouts lower because there were fewer predators, fewer fish in that particular bucket. It's what Rave and I were talking about when we were on the stream a few weeks ago. You can't put a system in place that is just an idea that falls out of your ass and not tune it. The tunability of R was the number of lockouts, and that should be really fluid depending on the number of guilds and the amount of competition that you want to see within that system. So don't talk about specific numbers. Pick a number, see if it works. If it doesn't work to achieve the results that you want, move it one way or the other until you see the results that you want. That's the question. The question isn't the number of lockouts. The question is the results and tuning the lockouts to the results.
That's never going to happen, because now you're requiring someone to monitor and tweak the shit, and only Rogan can do that. And
Well,
the
and
way
only do it every 3 or 4 months. It's not that big a deal. It's changing one code in the database based on a little bit of thought and discussion. It's not a big thing.
unnecessary work, is what
And
it is.
Because here's the other side of it: is
Like,
no
it would
matter
be
which
better
way
just
they
pick a
move the number, some people are going to be unhappy about it, and so to bring that to head every 3 to 4 months is more of a headache than I think is warranted to the staff. They don't need to be making those decisions, so to speak.
Okay, so the original reason why you picked 2, it was so that one guild could not dominate. We understand that. We get that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's not the answer to this problem, changing the lockouts. Maybe that isn't the answer. But obviously there's a problem. We've identified that there's an issue. So the issue is that you've got 2 Class C guilds, Class C capable guilds, getting every mob that comes up, every single mob. The purpose of Class C is to be able to get every single mob competitively. In Class R, the result of these 2 guilds being the Class C capable in Class R is that they get every single mob without competition. So that's a problem. Now, if lockouts aren't the answer, the question is, what is the answer? Because we have identified it as a problem.
There's 10 guilds in Class R. 3 of them are working together. That leaves 7.
No, that doesn't.
Am I
Asgard's
wrong?
gone, MC's gone, A-Team's gone.
I counted
There's 5
MC.
guild entities right now.
Oh,
There's
man.
CSG, there's Taken, there's Divinity, there's Indignation.
What's
and
the CSG?
The Casual Scum Guilds.
Oh, that's horrible. That might be worse than Gimpatron.
No, that's the masthead on our forums.
Yeah, we're the CSG.
Hey, let me come sideways into this again because I'm a little pissed about this.
You come sideways.
You saying that that's too much work, we have a system in place that we're unwilling to tune, might work on P99.
I'm telling you, realistically, a system that requires monitoring and changing is never going to probably happen.
I don't care. It's bullshit and it's stupid.
I'm sorry you feel
try
that
in any other part of your life, any other part of anybody's life. If you have a system that you put in place, leave alone, and flares up, and you're unwilling to take a screwdriver to it, you're fucked. You don't do that with your car. You don't do that with your bank account.
We're not saying it's set in
your
stone.
job.
We're not saying it's set in stone. I mean, we added a class system. That's a big, overwhelming change. We're discussing changing the lockouts right now. That's a big change. But we're not going to sit there and monitor shit every raid, going over data numbers so that we can tweak things every 3 to 4 months as needed.
I can understand that, but rejecting out of hand the notion that a system needs to be tuned when the variables within the system changes is a ridiculous
I'm not saying your idea is wrong or bad. I'm just being realistic with you and trying to help you with expectation levels.
No, well, I don't have very many expectations.
You're more.
That's probably good.
You're more likely to get larger changes after a long time has occurred than to have someone tweaking small over a closer period.
I understand that, but it's kind of stupid programmatically to not change your oil and rebuild it every 20,000 miles than it is to change your oil and check the oil level now and then.
Right,
absolutely.
But they're a one-armed mechanic with no legs right now. So it takes a lot more time to get that sort of thing done. So yes, ideally, that would be awesome, especially if they just had a person who monitored the raid scene and came up with those decisions and could bring them to head, and then the staff could say, okay, let's do this. But right now, that's just not possible. So although ideally that's the system, we also have to deal with things we can do with the tools that we already have.
I can understand that, but on the same hand, too, it would be a very easy thing to make up a chart saying if there are 9 guilds in Class R, we're going to have 3 lockouts. In fact, a 1-to-3 ratio, let's say, or something.
Every guild on the server is in Class R.
until they kill a Class C mob.
I understand that, but you can't tell me that kittens that say meow are in Class R in the same way that BDA is in this
Well, not yet.
moment.
I don't
mean,
think
about
anybody's in Class R the way BDA is.
you understand what I'm saying, though. I mean, you can call kittens a Class R guild, but until they go and pop a maestro or something like that.
Yeah, see, Subjecton has a good point about this. With more lockouts, BDA could just split into 2 guilds.
That'd be fine.
No. Hey, wait. We've already stated that splinter guilds aren't acceptable.
Well, splinter guilds, I mean, every guild that's not Class C is R.
Well, Omni gets accused of being a splinter guild.
Oh, I
Well,
know.
of course.
I'm sure you got accused of being TMO alts at one point, too.
No, that was just
Can we be?
Can we be?
Yeah, can I have your BB trash? You guys let rock. I know you got mage staffs out there that you guys don't want. Nobody plays mage.
Actually, we have people fighting over the mage staffs that we have, so
Are they that rare?
they're rare.
Hey, speaking of which, if anybody's got a green scale for sale, it's just dying and has been.
Do you want to know why Sev had 280 people in it?
We've had
Because
the
this
worst
server is
luck.
low on green scales.
Oh, we've had the worst luck. But anyway, I understand, and I'm way more practical than I am idealistic. But you know, when you say, all right, well, we just don't tune a system, that's where I say you're being an idiot.
I don't think it. He might have came across that way, but I don't think that's exactly what he was
Alright.
saying. But we keep dancing around it. Sirken, are you? My other thought is, are you empowered to make a decision?
Regarding lockouts?
Well, regarding the problem, I don't care about lockouts. I'm not trying to do your job.
I can definitely
saying
go
there's a
and be like, this is a problem, and we'll definitely have a talk about it, but I can't be like, this needs to happen. Like, nothing...
Not so many words, no, he has to talk to the other staff about it first.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean...
And then that brings us to this issue. Are we still going to have the tier system when Velius comes out?
Honestly, staff hasn't had that conversation yet.
Are they going to have it before Velius comes out?
I mean, ideally, yeah, but
Considering they released Velius, yeah.
devs are still working on Velius, and I know that we're going to give you guys a real nice amount of time for all your neckbeardy plans revolving Velius. I know there's people on Red server who are getting a hotel room and having like just a week-long LAN party. So
I wasn't invited.
well,
Sad.
Yeah.
what
Well,
can you
according
do?
to the forums, that happened last year.
Velius didn't come out last
Yeah,
year.
Velius already came out. Sorry,
2014.
2014.
You guys just don't know the password to get in.
Oh, god damn it.
So, but what you told me.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Go ahead.
When the devs finish working on Velius and Nilblog's like, oh, hey guys, Velius is done, then we'll start talking about the Velius things. But until then, we're just going to kind of wait and see how good or bad the raid situation gets, and then we'll have all the information to make a more informed decision.
How would you suggest that the Class R guilds who aren't happy with the current rotation situation, how would they best approach the server? Staff?
Approach the staff?
Yeah.
Why would they
be
approach the staff?
Well, to see about adding, getting it in another rotation number or something like that.
I mean...
I mean,
I don't
if
wanna- I
they
don't-
put a petition in the raid petition form, and not raid petition, but in the regular raid form, and have a discussion about it, would the staff see that?
They could. I mean, if you made a thread called "Sirken's a giant piece of shit and here's why," and
Oh
then
my goodness,
posted.
that is not what I'm talking
Well,
about.
hold on
at
though,
all.
hold on, and then you filled it up
Okay.
with like your actual ideas.
Oh.
It would probably get Rogan's attention, and he would click on the thread and read it, and that's one way to get him to do it. And just to plug my own stream, coming on here is a great way to do it because I know him and Nobog listen to these. And other than that, I guess telling me, because I definitely have both of their ears, but...
Hey, let me to say something in defense of BDA and Taken right now. And that is, if I were leading BDA and Taken right now, I would be really leery of going into C, because I know I used to be in BDA. I know that BDA doesn't have the number of track teeth yet to be hyper competitive. I mean, they're going to leave 3/4 of their guild out of VP, and that is really, really, really rough. And I think that I don't know how the C guilds feel about it, and I'm just being completely objective. I'm sure that most people know that the leadership of BDA and I get on like cats and dogs, if that good.
No.
But if I were leading that guild, that would be a real rough consideration for me. And I don't know if the staff, wants them in C, if they can make some arrangements with everybody in C and everything else. But in order for them to be competitive in VP, they probably need to rot in R for a while longer.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with that. Knix, what percent of TMO, we'll just say members, I don't really care about alts, but members, apps, what percentage of them would you say are not keyed for VP right now?
All members are keyed for VP.
Is that a requirement? You need a VP key to join?
No, it's not a requirement.
And so
they get there before they're done with their...
So even counting like all your current apps, and literally every member in your guild has VP keys right now.
Well, see, apps are not members. Sorry.
Well, I'm considering them. And
okay.
It can't be that many. You can't have that many apps compared to like how many actual members you have.
It's got to be a good 80%, doesn't it, Knix?
I would say 8% does not. Sure.
All right. What about you, Ereni? I know you're probably still going over things because you guys got a whole shit ton of people that don't know each other. But what percent of your guild is not keyed for VP ballpark?
I don't know. I can't say that. Everything's so new.
Would you say that there are?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you say at least that there are people who don't have?
There are people that don't have VP keys right now.
Because therein lies the problem, Cloki. They're still trying to key up their own people. They're not going to key up competition.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's where it has to come from. I'm just playing devil's advocate here on behalf of BDA and Taken. My guess is, knowing what I know, and I've been out of BDA for about a year, that there's a higher percentage of keyed people and more numbers of keyed people, and that would make me real reluctant to, hop the fence until I had more keyed raiders, and that's a real consideration. No matter how much I'd like to see Taken in BDA go C, I mean, they're gonna run into a big stinking brick wall just on VP keys. Yeah.
Let me make a parallel here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have let's imagine C is step 3. Let's look from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3, okay? Mm-hmm. 1 being class R before it turned into class C, and step 2 being class R in our current raid situation. In step 1, you had all kinds of people. Everybody was having a good time and everybody was raiding. Okay, step 2, you have about 15 to 20 people that actually make these raids because they're the people who are more hardcore minded but are still in your casual guild. For example, how many people were at Nagy from Omni in this last pop? The answer is 13. I have the numbers. You had 13 people from Omni at Nagy. We had 15.
That's enough to go Nagy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in our small guilds, we had 13, 14, 15. Those are the dedicated people that were able to log on and raid. Okay, stage 2 to stage 3. That's like BDA going into stage 3. I know in Azure Guard, and we have not been raiding Trachanon as long as these the 2 big guilds in Class R right now. We have about 20 people that are VP. And there are those dedicated
20 keys, yeah.
Okay, and they're probably your most long-standing, dedicated players who have either the most DKP or got it in their loot council or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people who show up. If I look at who has constantly been at these raids, the second the mob pops, it's those same people that are VP keyed. They're your core players, bottom line.
Right.
How many people does it take to kill Drushk or Faradar? This goes to Ereni and to Knix.
Can Knix answer that? I'm a little busy at the moment. Sorry.
You said how many people showed up for Fardar?
Yeah, on the last time you killed Fardar, how many?
Everybody shows up for Fardar. Each guild in VP had at least 80 players. But let me tell you this. It's FTE. It doesn't matter how many players you have in the zone. If you don't have FTE on the dragon, you don't get the dragon. So it's not about numbers.
With most of the encounters.
My question wasn't how many showed up, it was how many does it take?
How many does it take? 25. I believe we've done PD with at least 25, if not less.
And you're definitely TMO's definitely top dog. They've got the majority of the people that are there, and they know what they're doing. So if BDA had about 30 people that were VP keyed,
oh yeah, they could compete.
And not just for Faradar, because obviously he's the hardest one in there, right? I don't know.
He's not. He's just got the best prizes. He's called the Loot Pinata.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
He's not the hardest one in VP Nemce.
Okay, so like I said, I've never really been in there outside of like the easy server or anything, but
no problem.
So you could do it. Probably other mobs with probably less, but definitely 25 to 40 is really what you want to have.
Can I interject for a second?
Yes.
BDA was already in Class C, and they already cleared VP, so they can do VP. Yes.
Well, that's
true.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
So yeah, as BDA as a guild can kill anything.
So, but my point is, as they continue to be in Class C and they continue to win Trakanons, they'll continue to get more people. But their core people, the ones they actually need to get the kills, are there. They have it. They've proved they have it. And they, just like we are being forced to move into this Class C environment, and I am losing people. Imagine it's your guild. And Sirken, it is your guild. The server's your guild. You're losing people because of this raid environment.
I mean, you say that, but we broke a population record Sunday night.
Oh, thank you. Okay, great. So anyway, they might lose people. That happens. That happens as the raid environment changes, and you have to adapt to it. Why is one area more valuable than the other area? If they're honestly manipulating the system, which they currently are, and I feel it is even worthy of me sending a petition in and saying, hey, these people are breaking the system right now. You have lockouts for a reason, and they're subverting them. That's petition worthy in my mind. Why shouldn't they have to be pushed just like you're? I don't think VP keys is a legitimate answer.
I don't think anyone ever said like VP keys was a thing.
No, that's their argument. That's from their words on the FAP forums. Is that the whole purpose of this is we need to get raid ready, we need to get VP keys to the guilds that are most likely to join Class C. I was even okay with giving them more mobs. That was not an issue. It was just a matter of forcing us all to play in this style. And, but I don't think they need them. I think they're ready to go and try. They've proven it.
Did we break the server population note because there were so many people on socking stuff? No, seriously. I mean, if somebody has is it possible that they had their boyfriend sign in, their girlfriend sign in, their mom was sitting at their computer at home because they had to get enough people there?
I mean, I would like to hope that it's not because of a bunch of people cheating, but I guess anything's possible.
277 is a lot of bodies.
That is a lot of bodies.
Yeah, I did a who at one time, and it was over 286.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, yeah, the highest I saw it at was 270, and that kind of blew my mind.
Well, it surged after you disappeared because everybody's seen you and went, oh, Sirken's been here. It must be close to spawn time.
You know, nerds gotta stop doing that. I see 200 plus people in a zone, I'm gonna check it out. That doesn't mean shit. I just like to see all the nerds be nerds.
You taking names?
Pretty much.
Who are these nerds named?
Oh, I'm not gonna give names.
I just
Well, that's
parenthetically
interesting.
think this is a really interesting discussion between R and C, and I'm hearing stuff from C that I'd never heard before, and I appreciate this. Thank you, Ereni and Knix. I think this is really interesting.
Well, I have to say, I forgot my disclaimer. I don't represent the officership of TMO. I am just a member. And I am not the most technical person. I am not a technical person. I'm the person that they do all the pulling, and I stand at the camp, because somebody has to be the person at the camp, or else it wouldn't be a camp. I stand at the camp and heal the players.
You're a mirror. You're acculturated. You are a good representative of what's going on, I think.
I don't know. I just don't know what it takes to fix it at this point.
I don't either.
I mean, what it sounds like what separates Class C from Class R are the amount of core players, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your Class R guilds, which want to support as few core players as possible, in a sense. That's why you send your competitive people up into Class C.
I just want them to have a good time. Whatever they like playing, I want them to do it.
Yeah.
And so the question is, I guess that's really what should define Class R from Class C is your number of core players. Because when that goes up, you're able to compete in Class R. You have the numbers, you have the poop stalkers there to help you compete for mobs.
Mm-hmm.
But when you only have, maybe 3 to 5 who are really going to be there for every single one, you might be better off in Class R because you also want to support the 40 plus other people that aren't going to do that.
Uberbandit, there's one other thing that I think that nobody's discussed here that really dovetails nicely with what you're talking about. But we're mostly an AM. Omni is mostly a US AM guild with a lot of Euros and Asians. And we'll get 40 people in Sky some mornings. And, we're 40 people, on a hate or a fear run, on our raid days or whatever. Usually averaging in the mid to high 30s. Last night with this repop at 10 p.m. Eastern, I only had 6 people on 25 minutes after the bat phone went out because it just didn't hit the time when our people were able and willing to get on to P99. Had the repop happened, at a different time in our wheelhouse, we'd have had 40 plus people on to compete. And so not only is it the numbers, but it's also, essentially the guild's prime time. And, because we play in the US daytime, we're not going to be competitive 16 out of the 24 hours period. And yeah, it's a question of numbers, but it's also a question of who we are and what we are and when our people are able to make themselves available.
Which I think is what you want in the separation from R to C. Class R, you want an environment where you can be that and be happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so the question is, how do you remove the issue, which is basically Class R competition trickling into C? And I think the answer, or at least one of the answers that comes to mind, is having a better quantifier of what makes you Class C or R. Not what mob you've killed, but something. And it's kind of hard to say what that could be, but that's one of the directions my mind was wandering.
That's a good comment.
I like it.
That's fair. Smart. Because right now we're functioning as 3 guilds in order to be able to compete with what is essentially a couple of Class C guilds. It's very strategic that it's Omni, Europa, and Azure Guard. We're EST afternoon prime time. Omni is morning EST, and Europa is whatever we aren't.
Yeah, so, kind of tiles. We kind of take shifts covering, working as one big guild.
Right, and that's the only way we can even survive. But we fundamentally are different on various levels, and which is why we don't want to become one big conglomeration. Like the Europas, they have a very strong identity as being European, and they have a very intricate system in place so that they've got like a Spanish officer and a French officer so that they can communicate all the things that they need to do. I don't know how they all do it, but and they've also got like 4 different ways of bat phoning because of that. I mean, I couldn't take that on. My people aren't equipped to handle that, and that's really not the identity that they want part of. So we're very distinct entities for reasons, and we shouldn't have to compromise that in order to play the game. So there does, I think a new quantifier would be a good, I don't know, just what though?
Yeah, exactly. And then also who's deciding it is kind of a big deal. Because it has to be something that's incredibly quantitative.
You should never say that you're unwilling to whatever word you used, because Class C is absolutely doing that just by being in a class system. If it was up to them, there wouldn't be a class system, and so just in that regard, by them still playing here, that's a compromise. And so you should never say that you're not willing to compromise something. There's always a middle ground.
That's not what we're talking. I'm talking about getting rid of your identity completely.
Right.
Like, Class C is still Class C. They're still fighting for every mob. They don't want to be in a rotation. That would be giving up everything entirely. I get what you're saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Class R, at least from what I'm hearing from, everyone saying, because I'm not a part of it, it seems like it's basically a tiny version of Class C, just with different mobs. And that's not what it wants to be. That's not why it was there in the first place.
Does anyone have... Go ahead, Omni.
Yeah, this is the one of the elephants in the room. The staff has always held that Class R is an incubator for C. The prevailing wisdom in R for the longest time, until BDA did a 180, was that it was about play style. I think that a lot of the Class R guilds, and this is what Nemce is advocating, and this is what I also believe, is that it is about play style and being conscious of your size and, not wanting to outgrow yourself or outgrow your culture. And so I think that we might be a little bit at loggerheads a little bit, because I think it's about play style. I think it's about guild size. I think it's about, timing. Whereas the staff has always held that it's about incubation and growing and moving up. I mean, Sirken said in his stream, we should co-opt Europa. Europa should co-opt us. We should merge with Indignation. A million other things, to get bigger and stronger and more competitive. And we reject that notion roundly, as Nemce has said. And so the reason that Class R exists isn't even agreed upon between the staff and some of the Class R guilds.
Well, does anyone have a link to, or can somebody post it in the Twitch stream here, of what Rogan initially posted? I saw it floating around the forums the other day, and it actually gives, I don't think anybody's looked at it in a long time, but it actually gives some rationale as to why he went about with the class system.
Well, that might be a good place to restart the discussion then.
Does anyone have that? Rogan, Sirken, do you have that somewhere?
I do not have that.
I know it was posted on the forums like in the last month, and I was like, oh, I need to...
I'm actually glad you mentioned that before I said what I was about to say, because if that exists, I might have stuck my foot in my mouth.
Well, and that just goes back to what I was talking about earlier. It's sort of a general idea is, hey, let's figure out what the outcomes are supposed to be, and then you could make any set of rule sets that's sane to support the outcomes. It wouldn't really matter what the rule sets were as long as they supported the outcomes. But if we don't know what the outcomes are supposed to be, what the tablets from Sinai say, then we're just all kind of pissing into the wind right now anyway.
Quick, everybody in the stream, not us, but everybody over here on the side, just do a search for Sirken and find it. Or not Sirken.
No, Sirken.
Rogan.
Yeah, I don't think that the first one's going to help anybody.
No. Probably not.
Anyway, but yeah, that would be very interesting to me, and it would probably, help us form our arguments a little bit better.
Right, because, yeah, it seems... One of the issues is... and I'm maintaining that there are two types of guilds inside Class R, which are the pseudo and then your guys' guilds, which want to be true casual. The pseudo guilds are happy where they are, and they're accomplishing what their guild wants to accomplish. And there's something to be said for that. they don't necessarily want to be up in Class C, and they could possibly hemorrhage members because of that, because they're in an environment that is not suited to the guild, the same way that your guild is losing members because Class R is an environment where they want to be. And so the question of trying to favor one or the other is something that makes it really hard, I think, for the staff to come down with a very quick answer to all of this.
Right, it's not an easy problem, and I appreciate the fact that Sirken's even willing to, hear our side about it. But that's why I asked, what is he empowered to do? Because I want to know what his options are, and if he obviously is interested in hearing my opinion on it. I don't want to just be poking at things that don't exist here. If we have an option to make some changes, what are they? That's my question. What is the potential to fix the situation?
I honestly don't know. What I do is I bring your words and your concerns and your opinions to Rogan and Nobog, and we talk about them. And either they agree that it's a problem, or they say, no, that's player-made garbage and we're not going to deal with it.
Okay, so basically this right now is people who are knowledgeable about the raid situation forming a verbal petition to Rogaine himself. Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, I bring up your guys' concerns at the meetings that we have. I do that. But not all the times do we agree with your guys' concerns.
Oh, for
I
sure.
do think that the lockouts need to be looked at, reviewed, changed, something. Because, as pretty much all of you have said, there is no carrot on the end of the stick. And so there needs to be.
So nobody found that post, huh?
I mean, I wouldn't rely on a bunch of strangers to do things.
That's actually wisdom. Somebody ought to write that down. I wouldn't rely on a bunch of strangers to do things.
Yeah.
Personal responsibility. Nobody does anything.
I don't even...
Somebody's got to be doing it, right?
I mean, you'd think that, but no, not necessarily.
Sirken, you're telling me that you can't look up every post made by Rogan? Wait a second, I can do that, can't I?
I mean, I could, but that goes in part with trusting strangers to do shit for you.
Well, this is a lot longer conversation than we have time for tonight, too, and it's going to be an iterative process for sure, so we can find that and kick it around among ourselves.
I concur. And you know what? On that note, we're going to just be done. We're done on that, because we're running out of time anyway. But I do want to thank all 5 of you for coming on. Jesus Christ, there are a lot of people here. I want to thank all 5 of you for coming on and talking and sharing these things, because I don't play, so I don't hear them unless you tell them to me. And there's a lot of other people who I know have misconceptions about either Class R or Class C, because I read about them every day on the goddamn forums. So that's all things, and I'm glad you guys come here to clear all that up. Cloki, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, the other panelists. I have a lot more in my brain now than I did when I started, and I really appreciate your input. Thank you.
E+. Nemce.
This was fun.
It was fun. Well, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Knix, say goodbye to these fine people.
Bye, fine people. Nice to be on another stream. Thanks for having me, Sirken. Would like to reiterate that the opinions expressed by me on this round table tonight was mine alone and not necessarily reflective of the TMO Guild.
Yes. And you know what? If you want to hear more of Knix's opinions, twitch.tv/NixP99. Go there and follow her. Ereni.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm Ereni. I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/EreniP99. And come hang out.
I was going to say things, and you were just loaded and
You
ready.
did 'em.
She just fired that off.
Yeah. Deal with it.
I'm dealing. Bandit.
Yes.
You gotta say the things.
All right, things are being said. Hello, goodbye, chat. I know this might not have been the most chat inclusive, but I hope some of what's said ended up being interesting, and you can at least come away from this knowing that the administration of P99 isn't stagnant, isn't just some people sitting in chairs, that there is active discussion happening. And even if that doesn't affect you, I think it's reassuring to know that changes can be made if misfortunes were to befall you.
Oh, and Uberbandit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to do it because I was going to try to do it for Ereni, and then she fucking beat me to it. So, I'm
Deal
just...
with it.
That's the common theme. Alright. That's... You guys, Twitch links are in chat. Click on them, follow those people. I like all of those people. And thanks for watching and for listening and all of the things. I'm looking for... XSplit right now. I'm going... Nope, that's not even what I'm supposed to be looking for. I'm looking for Skype right now. And... Oh my god, negative peoples. Hold. Really? I can't put it on... Oh, because I'm looking at a conversation. Anyways, thanks pals for watching and listening. If you missed any part of it, or you want to watch the old stuff, youtube.com/SirkenP99. Go there. Check all those things out. If you have questions, I know we really didn't have time for a Q&A tonight, but if you have questions or comments or complaints or any of the things, go to the YouTube. Leave them there. I'll read your comments. You'll probably get a reply from me. I guess that's it. www.project1999.com. I hope all of you learned something tonight. Goodbye.